Welcome to the RadioU Podcast. Coming up, we have another deep-sea fish sighting, and this one could mean trouble.
Also, here we go. It's the Popeye horror movie that no one asked for.
All that and more on the way next. Now, the next holiday coming up, I say it's St. Patrick's Day, but I think everybody else thinks it's Easter.
I mean, it's the next really big holiday. I don't think a lot of people get, time off during St. Patrick's Day. Some workplaces...
Which is wrong to me.
Some workplaces give you, Good Friday off or maybe Easter Monday or something so you can kind of have a longer weekend, but not sure for St. Patrick's Day.
That's why St. Patrick's Day isn't seen as big, is because... It's not because employers don't give you off, so you can't celebrate the way you want. You can't really offer St. Patrick the reverence that he deserves.
Well, the way that we celebrate, I don't really know if it is giving him any reverence.
I think getting crazy drunk and puking out green beer is what he would have wanted.
Sure. A saint in the Catholic Church. Yeah. That's exactly what he wants.
I think that's what he had in mind when he declared, I declare today St. Patrick's Day, which I'm sure is exactly what happened. So we're skipping over St. Patrick's Day straight to Easter. And what we get for Easter, this is probably what Jesus would have wanted, is Peeps milk to celebrate Easter. When he gave his life for our sins, that he was hoping one day Peeps milk.
Yeah.
Around the same time.
Yeah, I'm sure exactly that it's almost similar, right? These holidays are
to the green beer of St. Patrick's Day.
Exactly. These holidays are being celebrated in ways that they probably shouldn't be, but that doesn't need to tamp down, I suppose, the excitement behind potentially trying a Peeps flavored milk.
I mean, there's technically nothing that connects Peeps milk to Easter, but in our minds, of course, Peeps are only brought out once a year, and it is for Easter and springtime. How do you feel, though, about Peeps? I know they're controversial in the candy world.
Yeah, I'm not usually a fan of that type of candy, so I don't typically eat them, but I've never eaten a Peeps and been like, that's the worst thing I've ever had. But I just don't.
It's not a vegetable.
Right.
As far as candy goes, it might as well be, but it's still sugar and marshmallow.
I just don't choose to eat it.
No, I avoid Peeps pretty seriously. They don't interest me at all. I've had them. I don't like them.
Okay.
But Peeps milk, which I guess we should be clear, is something that you may even be able to find on your refrigerator aisle now. It should be out for the holiday. And what flavor is Peeps milk? Because there's lots of different flavors of Peeps. Marshmallow. Sweet marshmallow milk by Promised Land Dairy. And I'm telling you, I don't like Peeps at all, but I think this could be good.
It might be.
I think it could actually be good. We're talking about sweet milk. We're talking about basically what I have in mind is the milk that's left over after you eat a bowl of Lucky Charms. And that's the best part of Lucky Charms. And most cereals is the milk left over afterwards. So I think this could be good.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like we might have to give it a shot for a food fight.
If we can find it.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
And if you ever see it, then this is where we need your help.
Yeah, tell us.
Let
us know. Where you saw it.
8772 RadioU. And if you obviously try it too, let us know what you think about it. The Peeps milk now available now through, of course, Easter.
Well, I'm certainly excited for the Battle of Buzz, but I'm also excited for summer of 2026, and that's because of something I saw yesterday, Hudson. So yesterday, or it might have been the day before this, but I saw this for the first time yesterday. We got to get our first look at Christopher Nolan's new film, which is The Odyssey. Obviously, a very popular story written by Homer. It's the Greek epic. And we got to see Matt Damon as Odysseus.
Yeah, what a choice.
I know.
They're bringing Matt Damon back into like a starring role in a blockbuster, which it seems like it's been a little bit of time since he's been the star of one of these massive films, but this is exciting.
I am very excited. I mean, I love the Bourne Identity films, so he stars in those, and I'm like, I'm just ready to see this. He looks amazing in like the whole costume and garb that they have him in, his like helmet with that kind of classic like 300 Sparta look is awesome. And so I'm really excited to see this. But I have to say, I did not know what the cast was looking like for this movie until I saw this article about the picture of him as Odysseus.
Well, it's Christopher Nolan, so it's got to be good, right?
Oh my goodness, is it good? You've got Tom Holland, Mia Goth, Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, Lupita Nyong'o, Robert Pattinson, Charlize Theron, Benny Safdie, John Bernthal, and John, I think it's Leguizamo? Yeah, I don't know how to say his name. But
Sid, the sloth from Ice Age.
Yeah, that guy. But anyways, that's an amazing cast right there.
Yeah. Are you allowed to make a blockbuster without Tom Holland and Zendaya both? At least one of them has to be involved.
I feel like that's true.
I think it's a prerequisite at this point.
And you have both of them, so now it's like, this cannot fail.
Yeah, it better be good. I will say that I am more of a recent, I guess I want to temper my expectations because Christopher Nolan, I'm not one of the fanboys that just loves every movie he ever makes.
Yeah, fair
Obviously,
enough.
the Dark Knight stuff was great.
Yep.
Obviously, Oppenheimer, I was ready to not like because it's like 3 hours historical drama, whatever. I'm not sure about this. And then I thought, it wasn't my favorite movie of all time, but is a much better than I expected. And for 3 hours, it's a whirlwind. And for the subject matter, I was like, wow, he actually moved this, even though it's 3 hours, he moved this along really quickly, keeps you really engaged.
Yep.
Very impressive. So just obviously coming off of that success, I am looking forward to this. But outside of those movies, I don't know that I have as many Christopher Nolan hits as other people do.
Inception? You don't like Inception?
No, I did not like Inception.
Interesting. Okay, guys, I feel like that's the one a lot of people point to.
That's what won people over. And so I started off on the wrong foot with Christopher Nolan because I did not like Inception.
Well, you are an Oscar fan. Oppenheimer won the Oscar, and I think rightfully so. I think it was the best film that year. And I want to know your opinions on what you think. I mean, even just from what we know so far. A story from 2,000 years ago that we all kind of know because everybody's talked about the Odyssey. Some of us had to read it in school. And also this cast is looking amazing. What do you think the odds are of a potential Oscar nomination?
I think this is all but assured even now before it's even been made. To lock up. I mean, it's absolutely going to get all technical awards next year. It will be nominated for all of them, which we're talking about what will be the 2027 Oscars.
Right.
It will be up for all the technical awards. It will almost assuredly get a nomination for Best Picture. I'd be shocked if it won again because they don't just usually keep giving it to the same person or the same kind of cast and crew over and over again. There's usually a lot of space in between unless it's really that good.
Yeah.
Or there's no other movies that are even close to it. So,
right.
I'd be a little surprised, again, looking all the way forward to what will be almost 2 entire years from now. In fact, more than 2 entire years from now when the Oscars happen, and this will be eligible, but it should be up for a lot of stuff.
I mean, it would be about 4 years since Oppenheimer won that this would be the Oscars that would, because was it 2023 that it won, or was it 2024
It was
Oscars?
1 year ago, right?
Okay, so it would be
3 years in between.
Yeah, so about 3 years. So that is pretty close, but with this cast and what they're setting up, I mean, this is a better cast than even what Oppenheimer had. I felt like Oppenheimer had an amazing cast. This cast is crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Well, you know what? I'm excited, but there's so many movies between now and then to be excited about. Meanwhile, I think we should take a moment to recognize Hurricane, the most decorated dog in U.S. history, who just passed away at the age of 16.
Yes, this is so sad to me. I had not heard of this dog before, but this canine served very well in its career. It actually had retired due to some medical reasons back in 2016. So it hadn't really been in the service, but had definitely been an advocate for canines and had a nonprofit founded in its honor named Hurricane's Heroes. So this pup has done some really cool things in its life.
Yeah, well, the reason that it was retired, but also the reason that it became the most decorated dog in U.S. history, was handed all kinds of accolades, awards, honors, whatever, is because back in 2014, Hurricane the dog, a Belgian Malinois, helped take down an intruder in the White House. I didn't know that happened.
I didn't
in 2014.
remember.
At least I don't remember that at all.
Right. I did not remember this. And that is so cool. I mean, that's what any canine is supposed to help do.
Yeah.
You know, so, but it's awesome that Hurricane obviously got the opportunity to, protect the president and his family. And it did it so well. He did a great job.
And it's true, too. You think, an intruder in the White House. But was the president actually there? Yes, the president and his family in 2014, which again makes it crazy that there was an intruder that somehow got inside the White House. But fortunately, Hurricane and his handler, Marshall Marachi, were there. And that was a big reason why that intruder was taken out. And of course, Hurricane honored in many ways, got all kinds of awards that I could just go through. I mean, the United States Secret Service Award for merit, the Department of Homeland Security Award for valor, merit and valor. I hope I have one of those one day. The list goes on and on and on. And now, of course, Hurricane is in the Guinness World Record book for having all of these honors, for being so distinguished. And if you want to contribute, you still can to the Hurricanes Heroes nonprofit, which helps cover medical expenses for other retired canine dogs, heroes in their own right.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, you think about how much safer we are because we're able to train these dogs up and they are able to help defend individuals who need that. It's amazing.
Well, and often when these dogs are retired, they're retired because of injuries sustained during, some type of thing that they had to do in their job as a canine. I mean, I've seen plenty of stories of police dogs that have gotten stabbed by suspects, some even shot, but thankfully they survive. But that doesn't mean that the medical cost goes away.
Yeah.
Suddenly there's lots of cost involved. And so I just think that's so cool that they established this in Hurricane's honor to make sure that these canines that serve our country are, being taken care of. And I know some people are like, it's a dog, whatever. But it's still a cool thing, and I still like that this is happening, and it's a nonprofit. Like, are you going to be mad at a nonprofit for helping dogs?
Yeah,
no, come on. So I think this is a great thing, and there's no reason to view it as like a zero-sum thing where it's like you take away money from this and you're taking away money from people or whatever. I don't think that's true. But yeah, I think this is such a cool story about Hurricane himself as the dog, but I think the legacy of Hurricane that is impacting other canines that have served our country is even more cool.
Yeah, and I love that Hurricane, even though retired in 2016, still was able to live this long of a life.
Right.
And so
16 is old for a dog.
It is.
That's
especially
impressive.
One that got injured while it was protecting the president.
Right.
So, wow, what a life by Hurricane. Today, we remember Hurricane, the most decorated dog in U.S. history. A so-called doomsday fish was recently spotted in Mexico. That couldn't be problematic at all, could it?
Maybe. I don't know.
It couldn't have earned that name for good reason, could it?
I think there might be some reason behind
it. What happened was, there's video of this, and this is a wild-looking creature. Its actual name is an oarfish, and it sprung up on a beach in Mexico. This was actually about a week ago now at this point, but of course now it's making the news. It's an oarfish. It looks, how would you describe it, Allie?
It's almost like an eel.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It's long and it's got,
wiggly like a snake.
Yeah, it doesn't quite have like traditional fins of a fish, where you would see like almost on the side. So it's like just long and straight, and it looks to be almost like a white shimmery color.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're typically quite long, and they also usually are in the deep sea. So they're not often viewed by humans, especially on a beach.
For the second time in as many days, we are getting a deep sea fish story, which I do enjoy as much as they frighten me. And especially...
although this isn't as frightening as an anglerfish, which we talked about yesterday.
Not as scary to look at, but the circumstances are frightening because they do call this the doomsday fish because as a legend has it, when you see, if you actually are to see one, this is a quote, a warning sign from higher powers that disasters such as earthquakes are soon to occur.
Interesting.
And I guess, I don't know if that has any real basis. However, at least one evidence anecdote that indicates it could be true is in 2011, 20 oarfish appeared on Japanese beaches. And just a few months later, the country experienced the most devastating earthquake on record. Also, there was an oarfish in 2024 spotted in Los Angeles. And then just a couple days later, there was a earthquake there as well. Mm-hmm. And that was in August of last year. So there's at least two stories that seem to indicate an earthquake could be coming soon. Although 20 oarfish spotted, and then months later is an earthquake is maybe a bit of a stretch.
Bit of a stretch. I think if it was and 2 days later, maybe you would have some type of leg to stand on. Mm-hmm. But also, I don't think it could be chalked up to any higher powers or the gods of the sea are sending us a message or something like that. It may just be more that if there is an earthquake coming, they might feel that, and they might be disturbed by that down in the deep sea. And so they are moving up closer to where you would be able to spot them. And that could be, yes, a warning sign, but it actually isn't sent from anything. It's just that they're trying to get out of what is some tumultuous
they don't
water.
Like where they are, but they wind up somewhere else and get disorientated. But this one was really disorientated because the guy who found it and filmed it and everything said they tried to get it back because it was flailing around in the shallow water on the beach, and they tried to hey, go back out in the ocean. And they tried 3 times and were not able to get it. It kept returning back in. So there's something down there the oarfish the doomsday fish really did not like. Yeah. And would rather be on land ending its days than down in the deep depths of the ocean where it belongs. So.
Yeah, these deep sea creatures keep coming up. It's what's going on down there?
Yeah.
Why do you not want to be down there anymore?
I don't know. I feel like something is afoot.
Some conspiracy theories.
And I don't like it. I want to be very landlocked for the next little while.
Yeah, it's true. Don't go anywhere near the ocean. No, I don't think we actually need to worry about anything. But it is fun to speculate, I suppose.
Yeah. And twice could be coincidence. If this is the third time we get another earthquake, there might be something to the oarfish doomsday thing.
Maybe.
Now, Allie, you are our resident horror movie aficionado. So I feel like you are uniquely qualified to comment and review the new horror movie Popeye's Revenge, which is, of course, based off of Popeye the Sailor Man, the cartoon, which recently entered the public domain. Popeye's Revenge, I should say. The trailer, I know you just watched it here. I believe that this movie, although the trailer's just out, the movie is actually out on Amazon.
Already?
I think so.
Oh my goodness. It does not look good.
You can rent it.
Okay.
In HD for $12.99.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
It's definitely worth it, I'm sure.
No. Just from the trailer alone, you can definitely tell it's low budget. But here's the thing. There's plenty of low budget horror films that I love and that are actually quite well done. But just from watching the trailer, it's this was clearly a rushed project because of the whole public domain thing. Once they got the green light to actually make a Popeye horror movie because Popeye entered the public domain, then they just went ahead and did it. And it's did you even read your script? This is bad. They literally have a line in the trailer where they're showing up to this house that's on this lake where apparently Popeye haunts this lake or whatever.
Which is not that doesn't have anything to do with the actual Popeye at all. He didn't live in a lake house.
None of the lore for Popeye is actually coming through in this trailer at all. He's going around killing people with an anchor. And
no, that's funny though.
But anyways,
I've never seen a horror movie where that was the weapon of choice.
Right. Yeah, that I guess that is pretty unique. But these teenagers they show up to this house and they're standing in front of the house and they're like, now that's an eyesore.
Oh my
who
gosh.
wrote this? Who have you met a teenager before? I've never heard a teenager say that.
No, this is, it looks horrible. They just thought they could put a kind of Popeye-looking costume on a guy and be like, this is our Popeye movie. But that doesn't make it good, which is, not surprising, but I was surprised that the people behind this movie are the same people that did Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh, of course.
Which at least felt like it had a little more connection to Winnie the Pooh. Like if you actually wanted a Winnie the Pooh horror movie, and not just a horror movie with somebody in a Winnie the Pooh costume. I never watched it, but it felt like the trailer gave more vibes of like there was something to do with Winnie the Pooh. This has nothing to do with Popeye at all. No,
nothing. They just made a scary villain on a lake dress up as Popeye. So it's like a bad Popeye cosplay. And that's about it.
He doesn't even like...
They say Popeye's like a little boy that died on the lake. Like, what do you mean Popeye's a little boy? Who wrote this?
You didn't have to do that.
No.
You could have just, I don't know. And it barely even looks like Popeye is the thing.
No, it doesn't look like him at all.
They didn't give him the chin. They didn't give him the arms. And I'm thinking too, now that I've thought about it more, I feel like the path to a Popeye horror film that actually works is there, because you could do, like, you think about all the cartoon gags in Popeye, all the things that should have killed Popeye and Bluto when they're fighting and whatever, all the stuff on the construct. Like, you could make that and then it'd be like a funny horror movie. Because he gags like he would actually be using, almost like the monkey that's coming out this weekend. But instead, this is definitely not that. By the way, this isn't the only Popeye horror film.
Oh, no.
Because you might remember we talked about Popeye the Slayer Man.
That's right.
Which is different, and at least the Popeye in that movie bears some resemblance to Popeye.
Do they have a trailer for that one yet?
Yes, they do. It came out in November.
Oh, I'll have to...
I don't think the movie itself is out yet.
But the trailer came out in November. I'll have to look at Popeye the Slayer Man. Yeah, this
is... we've spent too much time on this. Popeye horror movie. We don't need to... This is it. If you've ever felt like you wanted a bodyguard for any reason, it's just become easier than ever to get one whenever you want, thanks to a new app that is going viral called Protector. They're basically calling it Uber for armed guards. It just recently launched in New York City and Los Angeles, and maybe perhaps one day will go more widespread across the United States and maybe even the world. But it literally lets you just open up the app. You can book armed guards, which are either active duty or retired law enforcement or military. You also, if you book, get a motorcade with however many Escalades you need to be joining you, as well as uniforms for your hired hands to wear.
My goodness. I feel like Uber and Lyft are already expensive. How expensive is it to get all of that?
And how many people actually need this, truly?
Right. I doubt that many of us actually need to hire armed guards to come and pick us up from the airport and take us to Disney World. So yeah, I don't think this could be really utilized for that many people. And like you said, it's only available in New York City and Los Angeles right now, so it's not really widespread. But the thing that got me with this was actually the crazy marketing from this company, because not too long ago we saw, unfortunately, the United Healthcare CEO get assassinated. And they decided it would be a good idea for them to profit off of this assassination, which is just horrible in general, in my opinion. But they posted some marketing videos online saying that they could have prevented this killing if they had been utilized.
But they weren't even available at the time.
Right, which may have been true, but still, it's like, don't profit off of someone's death. Like, that's really, really not cool.
Yeah, that is definitely in poor taste.
Yeah.
But fear sells, and at that time, and I'm sure this still continues on to this moment, there's probably a lot of CEOs and roles and other people in roles similar that really was a shocking moment for them, as it probably should be. Like, if you can just get murdered in broad daylight,
right?
Then you would understand why people would be afraid and why this would suddenly feel like it's more necessary.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean that using that, saying that you could have prevented it, even though that may very well be true, after the fact feels in poor taste, to say the least. I will say that this also, as frivolous as it seems probably to most people, particularly to me, I would love to do this.
You would love it?
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun?
To hire it or to be a part of it?
Oh, not to be a part of it, to hire. I'm not protecting anybody. I would be a giant green light to would-be thugs and thieves, and who knows what else. If I was in your cavalcade of...
They'd be like, that's the weak one right there.
Yeah, they're
Go
like,
after
this
him.
is the one that we're picking off. That's the weak spot. That's the hole in the Death Star. But I know I would like to hire. I think it'd be fun to have some armed guards.
Okay.
I think that'd be a cool flex.
I mean, sure.
And maybe they would want to, maybe we strike up a friendship.
Sure. I mean, it seems like they are just available for hire in that moment. So I doubt that they would continue to work for you unless you continue to hire them and pay them. And I said, I'm assuming this is quite expensive.
I'm sure that it is, but I don't know. Maybe they start protecting me and they see that I'm a fun and cool guy, and then I don't need to hire them anymore. They don't need to work for me, but maybe they're just like, this is the kind of guy we want to hang out with.
We just love you so much.
He's a fun hang.
We just love you so much, Hudson. We don't want to leave.
Yeah, and we wouldn't want anything to happen to you because you're our buddy. And so now we're just watching out for you, you know?
I'm sorry to break it to you, Hudson. I don't think anyone's going to say that.
I think that would definitely, that's what I dream of. And yet again, it would be a flex. I think this is going to frivolicize, if that's a word, having armed guards. Like now just any dope like me that has enough money can get armed guards whether or not you need them.
Right.
And that could prevent them from protecting people that actually need it.
True. Good point.
Would you rather Wednesday? Let us know when you've got a good question you think we should do on the show at 8772 Radio U. And of course, use that to chime in with your thoughts on today's Would You Rather scenario. It's very timely. We recently had some big hockey fights. We recently had Paddington in Peru come out.
People are like, what?
Your Would You Rather question. Would you rather get in a hockey fight against Paddington Bear or Winnie the Pooh? Which also ties into Nikki's birthday since she loves bears, of course.
Yeah.
Which bear would you rather have to fight in a hockey fight?
This Would You Rather Wednesday is on multiple levels. There's levels to this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got lots of relevancy in different ways.
Yeah. But what is your answer? Would you rather have to fight Paddington on ice or Winnie the Pooh on ice? 8772 Radio U. I've made up my mind very clearly.
Okay.
That I know what my answer is to this one. Obviously, I'll be interested to hear Nikki's thoughts coming up in about 10 minutes or so, but we want to hear what you have to say as well. And Allie, have you made up your mind?
I think so.
And lots of responses coming in. We'll say Regina says, I wouldn't want to fight either, but I guess Winnie, as I know his story and I guess his weaknesses, whereas I don't know anything about Paddington's story. Can I just hug them both instead?
Aww.
No hugging allowed in this Would You Rather. Chad says, what about a fight with one of the Hershey Bears? I'd do that. The other two are too kind to fight. Yeah, but the Hershey Bears are real hockey players. So I don't know you, Chad, but I feel like they think they'd win.
Yeah. I mean, if they can skate pretty good.
I used to know one of the Hershey Bears, and he could have clocked the best of them. He was a guy that got into fights a lot.
Oh, no.
I think Eric just wins this. Eric says Paddington, that raincoat would be over his head, lights out.
Oh.
Yeah, because you know in hockey how they pull
the jersey. They pull the jersey over the head.
That's a good move. That's a good move, Eric. Susanna says, also never seen Paddington, so I don't know his demeanor. Pooh is so chill, but gives off the impression he might fight dirty. So I think I'll go with Paddington. Allie, what is your thoughts?
Honestly, I was on the same track as Susanna. Like, I feel like, and maybe this is because of that public domain horror film that came out that we talked about with Winnie the Pooh, that it's given me a new light on Winnie. And now I'm like, maybe I don't want to fight him. Maybe he would fight dirty. Maybe he would be pretty nasty in a fight. But also, I do have to say, even though I would pick Winnie the Pooh, or I would pick Paddington to fight, I think I would lose no matter who I fought because I can't skate worth anything.
See, that factored in.
Yeah.
I thought if either of the two of them could skate, it would be Winnie the Pooh. I don't think Paddington can skate.
Well, then that would give me better luck. So Paddington, that gives me even more reason to pick Paddington.
I feel like there's got to be some cartoons of Winnie the Pooh where he skates. I think that's happened.
Maybe, yeah.
However, as they're depicted in the movies, Paddington is a real bear with real claws and teeth and other characteristics of an actual bear, which who would want to actually have to fight even a tiny bear in real life? You wouldn't want to do it on ice or otherwise. Winnie the Pooh is a stuffed bear come to life. And he just feels much more lazy and, yeah, so he may be able to escape, but other than that, I don't fear him whatsoever. Also, if he's a stuffed bear, he's probably much smaller than me. I could just wing him around like a stuffed animal. So lots of reasons for me that make Pooh the easy choice. Max says, bring on Pooh. He's too fluffy to hurt me. Stuffed with fluff, that is accurate. Radio U, where music is going. You're hanging with Hudson and Allie on Radio U, 8772 Radio U, and you're hanging with the birthday girl herself.
Aw,
Good morning, Nikki. Happy birthday.
Good morning. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. You guys can't hear it, but the cheers from the listeners of like, it's her birthday. Yay.
Yeah, if we didn't have our headphones on and we weren't in a soundproof studio, I'm sure we'd be able to pick up. It's that loud. Nikki, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but we've done a Would You Rather Wednesday in a way that really speaks to you. It's in honor of you. The Would You Rather today is, would you rather get in a hockey fight against Paddington Bear or Winnie the Pooh?
First off, I saw the hockey fighting from that game the other week, the Canada-USA thing.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of that, so I'm sorry. I've got distracted.
That's what
anyway,
inspired
I heard
it.
Paddington. What was the other one?
It's either, so you're going to get into a hockey fight with a bear. Would you rather fight Paddington Bear or Winnie the Pooh Bear?
You know, I never cared for Winnie the Pooh. Like, I just don't care for him. But I also feel like I wasn't in the Paddington Bear loop. But I feel like Paddington more is like street smarts and Pooh's just like the forest. So I don't know. I think I'd probably I think I want Paddington on my side, but I think we could take out Winnie the Pooh pretty fast.
Winnie the Pooh he seems like a lover, not a fighter, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's the honey. That honey will slow you down,
That's
man.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Not the marmalade doesn't do it as much.
Oh, sure.
That's more energy efficient, I feel.
His reflexes
That's
aren't
right.
quite as fast.
Yeah.
Just say it. He's fatter, all right? He's just fat. He's a fat bear. Just say
admit it. It's okay to say
Just
about
admit
bears.
it.
It's okay to
There's
say
nothing
about
wrong. It's not a body shaming thing.
Yeah.
It's just Pooh was just different than Paddington,
Yeah.
a lean bear.
It's
so.
true.
And he
It's
traveled
true.
a lot, I feel like. So he was always going, I feel like on the subway. So I don't know, or the train.
Yes, Paddington's seen a few things in his day.
Exactly. He's moving and just Pooh is not. So it's fine. But
right.
yes, I think that's my answer.
I'm definitely with you. I don't want to have to try to fight Paddington. I think Winnie the Pooh, I think I could handle in a hockey fight or otherwise. So, Nikki, what are you doing? Anything for your birthday?
I have not heard yet. I think there's supposed to be some surprises today.
Ooh.
So if anybody has any good options I can pass to my family and friends of like, no, but Bob said you should take me. No. If you text 8772 Radio U, but otherwise, I don't quite know. We'll have to find out what today has in store.
All right. Birthday suggestions for Nikki. Any activities you have in mind that she might enjoy or gifts? 8772 Radio U. Now, Nikki, I want to come back with you because I know that, I don't know if you still have it, but historically you've had Jeeps for a while. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the issue or maybe even experienced the issue that many people are experiencing with their Jeep. And so I want to ask you about that next.
Ooh, there's a problem. All right. That's
Yeah.
actually what I wanted for my birthday. I'll take a new Jeep. So whoever wants to.
You might change your mind after you hear this. Is coming up.
I'll hear it first.
Radio U, where music is going. We are here with Nikki. It's her birthday, so send in some birthday wishes to Nikki at 8772 Radio U. Now, of course, there's a few things people know about you, Nikki. Of course, the bear fandom is one. But I think
That's one.
A lot of people still remember that you are you've been a big Jeep fan. You've owned Jeeps for as long as I can remember.
Oh, I think it's more like a brand loyal thing. You know, like I always had Apple and I always had Jeeps. That was my very first car. I think I had a Toyota once and then I was like, no, I have to go back to Jeep. And I didn't my RAV wasn't bad. I had like a RAV4, but that was fine. But yes, a Jeep is traditionally what you'll find me in.
So if you have a Jeep now, have you experienced what I've seen some people complaining about online? on like TikTok, and that is that in the Jeeps that have like the screen, the actual touch screen that most newer cars have now, they've been getting this message that pops up, basically trying to sell them on the vehicle protection maximum care plan.
Ooh, and spam on your screen.
And these people are complaining that it pops up every time you're driving. At every time you stop the car, it will pop up and you have to dismiss it to be able to see anything else on the screen. And the only way to get it to stop is by purchasing the warranty. Otherwise, it's just going to keep popping up permanently, is at least what some people's experience is.
That's so dumb.
That's shady. Like that. I don't like when car companies do that. I've never had that happen, but I have had the, the Sirius XM one. Like we know you never had us, but please sign up. And I was like, I never had it. I never did it. But I've never had any of the other spams. I wonder if it just knows better. My car knows me better, Hudson.
They know better than to mess with Nikki. Yeah, I don't know if it's like, because I mean that software in those screens or whatever, it has to update every so often, right? So maybe you just haven't gotten the update yet. Or maybe it's only
don't speak that into my life. I reject that. I say no to that. I don't like that. That's a no.
Well, maybe the other explanation is just that it's only for certain models or something that you don't have, or maybe it's just a glitch for some of these certain Jeep drivers, and so it's not supposed to be happening because it sounds so annoying and invasive that Jeep couldn't possibly want that going out in all their vehicles one day, could they?
No, I mean, I usually have CarPlay on, but no, I've definitely had the Sirius one, but not any spam, the other lines, but that'd be a pain. And I just hate it whenever you go and you're like, can you please make this stop? They're like, well, sorry, no, this is just how we have our cars nowadays. Like, does anybody else have, my car doesn't have it currently, but everyone before the button that, it makes your car idle when you go to a stop, like if you're at a light.
Yeah.
And then it like idles it to save gas. And then, your car sounds like it's turning back on again when you just, that thing drove me crazy forever. I hated that thing. Everyone hates that thing.
Yeah. That's annoying.
Yeah. I think maybe for these people, they can get it fixed if they're willing to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's people,
blackmail.
Yeah, that's right. That feels really, as you said, shady, that to force people to get rid of it, that you have to buy this thing.
And some people are saying that it's literally like dangerous because if you're driving and you have maps up or something, or just you look over there to do whatever other thing and now you're distracted by this and then you might not be paying attention to the stoplight that you're at or whatever. And so it feels very problematic, and hopefully it gets fixed.
Well, if Jeep wants to allow that to happen, then you can allow me to have Netflix on my big screen. So
if you just have any distraction on there,
I'm going to have YouTube, so fix it.
All right, Nikki, happy birthday. I hope this Jeep problem never befalls you.
I appreciate those kind words to me on my birthday.
Thanks for listening to The Hudson Show. Please don't forget to rate and review the podcast.